The NASCAR Xfinity Series race officially concluded from Charlotte Motor Speedway, and William Byron comes in and makes a last lap pass to pick up the victory, and we see a lot of crashes and a lot of wrecks near the end of the race after a pretty clean start. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Bet MGM 300. We got quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about. So before getting into a little bit of my rant that I'm going to have about the end of this race, let's talk about some of the good racing that happened early. There was some really good racing throughout the field early in the event. He had Connor Zilisch, who had a really good run going. He got into it with Dean Thompson in the middle portion of the race. And generally throughout the field for the first 150 to 160 laps of this race, it was a naturally run event. There was a lot of good racing throughout the field, and I thought the racing was very, very solid. But everything would change late in the race with around 45 laps to go during the final green flag pit stops of the race. We had Taylor Gray had a flat tire. He would come down pit road, and they waited a little bit of time to throw the caution. I don't understand why NASCAR waited so long to throw the caution. Either let the cycle go through completely or instantly throw the caution. I don't understand why they waited so long to throw the yellow. Personally, I think they should have thrown it instantly, but you can't just do it in the middle of a cycle. You've got to make the decision if you're going to do it right away or you got to do it when the cycle completes, because it really screwed up the field on a lot of really good cars like Carson Quaffle at the time and William Byron at the time, and guys up inside the top 10 like Austin Hill, for example, and Sammy Smith too, all got put in really, really bad positions. So then we had basically Justin Allgaier get the race lead, and we saw some guys basically stay out up there. Justin Allgaier would have the lead. Connor Zilisch would be on the front row. Justin Allgaier got a really good restart with around 40 laps to go and was able to get the race lead, and he started driving away from the field. And then with around 25 laps to go, this is where the crapshoot began. Carson Quaffle had a flat tire coming off of turn number 4. He lost it and would spin out and would come down pit row, and that would bring out the caution. Then we have another restart once again, and Justin Allgaier got a solid restart, and this is where a massive crash would end up taking place with around 15 to 20 laps to go. A bunch of drivers got collected in the wreck, including Blaine Perkins. Brandon Jones got some damage in that. I believe Daniel Dye got some damage in that wreck. Liam Honeyman might have gotten collected, and a bunch of other drivers got collected in the wreck. And Connor Zilisch was the one who made the aggressive move, trying to go full wide. Obviously, he had fresher tires. He got into Brandon Jones a little bit. They were trying to say Brandon Jones is fully at fault. Personally, I think Connor Zilisch was at fault for that a little bit, to be honest. But I think it's also making full wide move. You got to do what you got to do. But I think Zilisch was definitely more at fault for the incident in the crash. And then we got back racing once again, and we got to turn number 1. Justin Allgaier got the lead once again, and then all of a sudden, another crash happens. Catherine Legge ends up wrecking, and J.J. Yeley ends up wrecking. It was a really weird and really strange incident. J.J. Yeley went up the track. It seemed like he cut the grass a little bit and went up the racetrack and got on the Catherine Legge. This would spin her out and would bring out the caution once again. Then we had another restart, and we started seeing a fantastic and great battle up front for the race lead between Justin Allgaier and Connor Zilisch, who were putting on a really good show in two of the fastest cars in this race, and William Byron charging up there and Sheldon Creed being close up front as well. But as they're bound for the race lead, and Connor made a dive bomb move to the inside to get the race lead. He actually got it for a second. The caution would come out when Leland Honeyman, Brandon Jones, and Kyle C would end up crashing down the back straightaway. They would hit the inside wall. This would bring out the yellow flag once again, as Justin Allgaier, of course, at the time was on older tires, while Connor was on fresher tires. Then we get to the final restart, or we think we're going to get to the final restart, because we have another caution that kind of comes out for a second, as Daniel Dye has a wheel that comes off the car. The wheel was not tight on the race car, and Daniel Dye ends up spinning out. The car gets stuck, and what's really funny is his normal crew chief was suspended for 2 weeks, and now his interim crew chief is going to be suspended for 2 weeks. So a terrible week for Daniel Dye continues, who doesn't have his current crew chief and will probably lose his other crew chief, unfortunately. And then we got back racing once again with 2 laps to go, and we had a really fantastic battle between Connor Zilisch, William Byron, and Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier goes up the racetrack. Connor Zilisch makes a move, loses a little bit of ground on the restart after Sheldon Creed and Nick Sanchez kind of blocked him up there, and then basically he got a really, really good run to try to get there. But then coming to the white flag of the race, we saw some really good racing between William Byron and Justin Allgaier. William Byron makes a move. Allgaier gets into him a little bit. He gets sideways, and William Byron has the race lead. Going down the back straightaway, entering turn number 3, William Byron had to lead over Connor Zilisch. Connor would try to close, but the caution would come out on the white flag of the event. William Byron would come in and take the victory and get his first Xfinity Series win of 2025 after coming back from a speeding penalty on pit road. The caution was for Brennan Poole, Jeb Burton, I believe Williams Walsh crashing in the back of the field. Tough break for those guys. Some of those guys had good runs going, like Jeb Burton. Others not so much. That was a really bad wreck. It just was a racing incident at the end of the day. Tough break there. So William Byron, like I said, picks up the win, first win of 2025 in Xfinity, his third win across the board in all three divisions. He, of course, has a second win, I should say, because he only has one win this year in 2025, that being the Daytona 500. William Byron had one of the strongest cars in the field, and I think he and Allgaier were the two fastest cars all day long. He got back up there from the penalty. Congratulations to William Byron on picking up the win and getting his first Xfinity Series victory of 2025, a well-earned win after making the move. So now we're going to take a look at the race results, and I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race talking about the rant. So William Byron picks up the win. Connor Zilisch finishes second. He did have that mistake on the restart with 20 to go, but Connor Zilisch, in my opinion, was the show. He comes back, of course, from an injury. He's going to run the Coke 600, and he was making some very impressive moves out there, was getting it sideways, getting aggressive out there. Connor had a really good run today, comes back and finishes second, just not enough to get the victory, but he almost got his first oval win. I'm telling you, that first oval win is coming for Connor Zilisch. He showed really good speed today. I didn't think he'd be a major factor for the win, but today he ran very well. He finishes second. Great run for Connor Zilisch. Nick Sanchez finishes third. Great run for Nick Sanchez. Ran inside the top 5 and top 10 all day long. Had really good speed in that 48 car. Got up there on fresh tires, but comes home with a really strong top 5. Helps him in the playoff standings as well. Good run for Nick. He finishes third. Justin Allgaier finishes fourth. A heartbreaker for Justin Allgaier. Them staying out basically cost him the win because there were too many restarts at the end where William Byron was coming to the front. That car had been really strong in the 17, and that really cost Allgaier a shot at getting the victory. Tough break for Allgaier, who should have won this race. He had the car to beat, in my opinion. Once he got out front and dominated the middle portion, he just completely dominated. So tough break there and tough situation up there. Just unfortunate because, in my opinion, he had the car to beat for most of this race. Sammy Smith finished fifth. For a guy who got caught up in a couple incidents today, a solid day for him, all things considered. Comes home with a top 10, continues to put up some decent performances here. Good run for him in fifth. Dean Thompson finishes sixth. I was a little frustrated with Dean Thompson for getting into Connor Zilisch, but I got to give him credit where credit's due. He's been actually doing a pretty solid job in that Sam Hunt racing car this year and comes home with a really strong top 10 finish. He ran top 10 near the end of the event, got helped by some strategy, but still today was a solid run for him. He finishes sixth. Pretty good run for him. Josh Williams comes home with a top 10 in 7th place. How about that for Josh? Wasn't a factor all day. Got some help from strategies and staying out and comes home with a top 10. Josh has not bet a lot of speed this year, but comes home, I think, was first or second top 10 of the season. So solid run for Josh Williams. Austin Hill finishes 8th. That car struggled most of the day, ran 10th to 15th all race, but they worked on that car a little bit, got helped by strategy, and they come home with a solid top 10 in 8th place. Good run for Austin Hill. Ryan Ellis finishes 9th. How about that? His first career Xfinity top 10. And Ellis wasn't even a factor in this race, but I'm so happy for Ryan. First career top 10 Xfinity. He's been working so hard to get opportunities to race in the sport, and he gets his first career top 10 finish in Xfinity. Really happy for Ryan to score that top 10. And Christian Eckes finishes 7th. A solid rebound day. He legit had top 5, top 10 speed quite a bit. He lost some of the handling as the race progressed and went on, but comes home with a really strong top 10 and 10th place. Good run for Christian Eckes. Sheldon Creed finished 11th. He was up front near the end of the race, lost some track position, but he got back up there after having a tire issue and lost a ton of ground in the race, but they recovered, got helped by the strategy call as well. He finished as 11th, solid day for Sheldon Creed. Sam Mayer finished 12th, ran top 10 a lot of this race, lost the handling on the last restart, lost a ton of ground, and falls back to 12th, but a decent day for Sam Mayer, all things considered, and did get some decent stage points as well. Jesse Love finished 13th. He struggled most of the day with bad handling. He also got a restart violation in the middle portion of the event. That dropped him back quite a bit. He falls back to 13th. Tough break after having a decent car. Austin Dillon finished 14th. Dillon struggled most of the day. That car just was not up to speed whatsoever. It seemed like the 3 car, which Casey Kane had really good speed in that car when he drove it, rocking him. Just for some reason, no speed in the number 3 car whatsoever. Just no speed for Dillon. He finished 14th. Ryan Sieg finished 15th. He ran top 10 quite a bit in this race, but unfortunately for Ryan Sieg, he had some issues. He had some trouble, got caught up in one of the big wrecks, and got a lot of damage. Williams Walsh finished 16th. He somehow comes back and finishes in the top 20. He probably should have finished outside the top 20, to be honest. Williams Walsh struggled the whole entire race, was running 25th to 28th most of the event, but got benefited by some of the cautions happening and some of the good contenders getting taken out. I know it's back-to-back top 20s, but we got to question the speed of that number 18 car because the speed is not there right now and is struggling. Only got a top 20 because of attrition. Jeremy Clements finishes 17th. Carson Quall finished 18th. He ran top 10 a lot of the race, but had the tire issue and fell back quite a bit. Chris Wright got a top 20, despite the fact he got involved in multiple incidents in this race. He somehow comes back, gets top 20. That's how you know this race ended crazy. Brandon Jones finished 20th, got caught up in one of the late race wrecks and lost a ton of ground. Jeb Byrne finished 21st, got caught up on the white flag incident and got a lot of damage. Harrison Byrne finished 22nd, got a lot of damage, was running in the top 10 quite a bit and near the end of the event after playing strategy. Brennan, which he's been doing a lot better, Haley Deegan anyways. Brendan Poole had a massive crash on a white flag. He finished 23rd. Chase Briscoe finished 24th. He had no speed in that car whatsoever today. He was about a 13th to 14th place car. Had a tire issue, never really recovered. I was a little surprised because I thought Briscoe was going to be a factor. We've seen Eric Almirola be really good in that car. Just not a good day for him. He finished 24th. Blaine Perkins finished 25th, got caught up in one of the incidents. Anthony Alfredo finished 26th. Garrett Smithley finished 27th. Nick Lights finished 28th. J.J. Ely finishes in 29th after the weird incident. C.J. McLaughlin finished 30th. Taylor Gray, after having a really strong day early in the event and led a ton of the early portion, he finished 31st. Daniel Dye finished 32nd. Leland Honeyman finishes 33rd after crashing. Kyle Seek finishes 34th. Catherine Lake finished 35th. Catherine had not the best run going anyways, but she was keeping her nose clean and wasn't doing anything wrong. And of course, she gets caught up in incident and wreck. Brad Perez finished 36th after issues early in the race. Matt DiBenedetto finished 37th after having electrical gremlins, and Parker Redside finishes last in 38th place. So those were the race results of the event. Let's talk about my rant of this race. The end of this race, in my opinion, was really, really frustrating to watch. I got to be real and honest. I'm not going to get as frustrated as I did at Martinsville because I was really angry after the Martinsville race. And I'm not as angry as it was. Was this race as bad as Martinsville this spring? No, absolutely not. The whole time, Martinsville was just a crapshoot, and there were so many cautions throughout the whole entire race at Martinsville. The end of this race kind of felt like Nashville in 2024 last year, where Logano got the win because of fuel mileage. It kind of felt like that near the end of this race. And it's been not just one race where the Xfinity Series has been turning into a crapshoot, but there's been at least 3 or 4 instances this year where the Xfinity Series has just turned into wreckfest, and drivers who don't deserve good finishes probably are getting good finishes, and drivers that should be getting good finishes are not getting the finishes they deserve. And it's really frustrating because there is a lot of talented people in Xfinity, and Xfinity, a lot of times, they put on a really good show, and today I think the product until the end of this race was actually really entertaining. The problem is that these races are turning into crapshoots on a week-by-week basis, and honestly, it's getting frustrating. The race at Texas, for example, that race was a crapshoot. It was better than this one a little, well, at the end, I should say, at least, because we actually had a green flag finish at the end with Larson getting the win, but it's becoming a week-by-week basis where these races are turning into wreckfest. We've had 7 overtime finishes in 13 races. I'm sorry, that should not be happening. There should not be so many cautions near the end of the race. That's got to change. That's getting really irritating and frustrating. A lot of these guys are in because of money. There's a lot of guys not in the sport because of talent, unfortunately. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of these crapshoots happen, unfortunately, which is really irritating because, again, the first 3 quarters of this race was actually really fun to watch. These guys are wheeling it. They're making incredible moves. The racing was fantastic throughout the field. I thought the first 3 quarters of the race was probably an 8 to 8.5 out of 10, or probably at least an 8 out of 10. The end of the race, on the other hand, was like a 4 or 5 because we at least had an okay finish until the caution came out. But my score for today's race is going to drop a little bit from about like an 8 out of 10 probably down to a 6.5 out of 10 because the end of this race was just really irritating to watch. And I'm just getting frustrated with every one of these Xfinity Series races turning into crapshoots. And in the Xfinity Series, they had a talk after Martinsville. Did that talk not resonate with these drivers over the off-fleets? Because it seems like they have short-term memories because they seem to pretty much forget what happened here. It's getting irritating that all these Xfinity races at the end are getting frustrating to watch. Because again, most of the race was pretty solid, but I think the ending of the race was really frustrating to watch for me, in my honest opinion. So my score of the race is a 6.5 out of 10. So that is going to be it for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race review from Charlotte. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts on today's NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Charlotte? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate William Byron on picking up the win and stealing the win on the last couple laps. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow morning on the channel, we're going to have the starting lineup for the Coca-Cola 600. Then we're going to have the Indy 500 review, and we're going to have the Coke 600 review. And then on Monday, we're going to have multiple NASCAR news videos more than likely. There's been a lot of news coming out, like Kyle Busch's extension, William Byron's extension, Days of Thunder 2 in the works currently at the moment, some stuff around Amazon Prime, some other silly scene stuff like Austin Center, some other interesting stuff that Bob Pocker's reported as well. We got content coming out, people like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cards, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace's Ross Chastain, like I said, Chase Elliott, Clayton Saffron, Matt Benedetto, Frankie Muniz, Junior Motorsports, Connor Zillich, all the good stuff we'll be talking about on the channel in the coming days and weeks, along with Dodge and Honda and all that good stuff as well. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.